Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, TheRumpledOne, coming to you Friday, July the 21st. The year's 2023. Let's talk trading. It's time for the weekly wrap-up. These videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. And taking a look here at the week, what a week. We pretty much gave back, or the market took back, all the gains it made last week. If you can see, we definitely covered that weekly candle. This week's high is greater than the top of this candle. This week's low is less than the bottom of the previous week's candle. So coverage. And right now we just so happen to be in the launch pad. And price has launched out of the launch pad a couple of times here. I don't know what's going to happen for the rest of the day. We still have about, maybe 5 hours left in the trading day, 4 or 5 hours. And you can see here, right there. I don't know if it's going to push down lower or not. We just have to wait and see. But we are 250 pips or better off of the weekly open. For the month, we are right here at the high of the previous month, seeing if we're trying to go back in the wick zone or stay out of it. The monthly there. And on the day, you can see we broke out of the opening range on both sides on Tuesday, up above and then down below. And then we haven't been anywhere near the opening range since, and we are headed towards the opening range for the month. So for the week, we're down. It's just been quite the move. Almost 300 pips off of that yearly high. 754 above the yearly open. So you can see definitely pulling back here. And it looks like the launch pad is moving price back up again. Notice we broke out of the, actually we're breaking back into the weekly inside bar that happened 4 weeks ago. The high there was 128.37. And looks like that launch pad's moving again. And we're almost at the top of the hour. And we've got a bunch of inside bar action here on the daily. And some on the monthly too. Not so much on the weekly. 88 pip range for the day. You can see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pairs over 100. Now, the dollar yen, if I remember correctly, it was down around 138. And now you can see it's back up to over 141, almost 142. So for whatever reason, it looks like the dollar's gaining strength comparison. But 1, 2, 3, 4 pairs over 200 pips. Notice all yen pairs. Taking a look, you see we went through the daily open up above, cross below. You can see a few hours ago, kind of wish-washy here, and then right through the in the buy zone, and then through the sell zone right here. Green rats feasted. There was a nice little feast there off of that bottom. And then you see here we touched the outside of the smart rat zone. Notice the green rat has a little bit higher trigger than the regular rat, but the smart rat also has a higher trigger on the red zone. So gives you more room to buy, less room to sell. On the pivots, Bambino Flex said the short. Near R1 bias is short. Near the pivot the bias is short. That definitely paid off. We're about 44, 45 pips below today's pivot. And let's take a look here at the monthly pivot. We still haven't hit it. Missed it by 20 pips. Weekly, we've taken out that pivot for this week. And the daily, we took out the pivot. Notice there was a missed pivot here, but that pivot got taken out at 128.26. And remember, I had mentioned some other missed pivots here, right here at 128.16. And it looks like today's low was 128.15. So that pivot that I had mentioned a few days ago got taken out, as well as this other pivot here. Let's see, was that on the list? No, there was another pivot. Which one was it? I think it was it this pivot? Yeah, the 130.28. That was the first one, and then down here was the other one. I don't remember if this pivot, I think this pivot had gotten taken out that day. No, it hadn't. So this was another pivot. So once again, those H4 missed pivots, for whatever reason, price just seems to want to come back. And you can see though, there's a bunch of missed pivots on the H4, so it doesn't always work, but a lot of times when you see this fast move up, there's a slow move back down and it covers them or takes them out. You can see on the day we've got some missed daily pivots back in March. Got one so far here in July and one in June. In and out of that lower wick zone. You can see here we're back inside. And looking at all the ranges, we have 310 pip range, 75 percentile for the week. Last week we had 392. So it looks like we're going to have an inside bar on the week. Okay, we didn't hit the, we didn't break out of the high, we didn't break out of the low of the previous week, and that's why we have an inside bar. High minus close 280 for you red rat or weekly red rats. Close minus low right now is 30 for you weekly green rats. And for the buy zone traders, high minus the open was 35. Open minus low is 275. So it's just a matter of being on the right side of the open, because price moves away from the open. Either moves up from the open or down from the open. So whether it's on D1, W1, H1, daily, weekly, monthly, price moves away from the open. That's how you get the range. Of course, it'll move up and then maybe move down through the open, but just try to, for the most part, try to move away from the line as opposed to towards the line. The rat is the exception because we know that price will reverse, but until it does, you want to move away from the line. And looking here at the simple price action chart, we've got the sweet spots at the psychological levels here, and we're coming up towards that 50. You can see it failed to break it last hour. Maybe it breaks it this hour. And the higher low, lower high trade, you see it's putting in a 2-ball. Where did we have? We had a lower high. Not sure where we had that lower high. I think it was somewhere here. Yeah, right here. And you can see price came down, put in a one ball right below it, and took off again. And now we'll look here for the accumulated range, 1340 for the year. You can see we put in almost 300 pips over the June. And that's the year-to-date accumulated. Let's look at the ATR percent. We're at 77%. Looks like we might stick there. We've got another week of trading here in July. So we'll see if it pushes out. I don't see that it will, but anything could happen. And the ATR 628. So there's room to go, but for some strange reason, if you look at those ATR percentages, it's not exceeding them. Close minus open year to date, so we're at 6.31%. So that's not a bad return on the money. You can see here it dipped down in February. It's been going up since. Let's see, was there anything else we need to look at here? No. Okay, on the trade reminder, zoom out to monthly. We're still above the upper wick zone of the previous month. We exceeded the previous monthly range by 3.9 pips. That's interesting. Still looking to fade the pivot. That's kind of interesting too. Okay, for the week, definitely below the open. We're between the wick zones, so price came down here in that lower weekly wick zone and then zoomed up. We're below the weekly pivot, lower high, higher low. Once again, inside bar. On the daily, we are above the indicator 2 moving average, which is the EMA 5. We're inside the lower wick zone on the daily. Sellers are in strong control. Lower high, lower low. See that 1, 2 days. See lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low. So, fellow traders, that's it for the weekly wrap up. I hope you had a profitable week. And I hope we've answered the questions. And if you've got any more, feel free to ask. And myself and Walmall, we'll see if we can help you out. So, you all have a fun and safe weekend. And when you come back to trade, always remember, never forget, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is the Rumpled One, over and out.